It's Train Time, the show, episode number 5, starting right now.
In compliance with COPA, this video is not for children under the age of 14. Viewer discretion is advised. Sponsored by Canadian Model Railroad.ca and by donations from patrons like you. Further support provided by miniprint.ca. Make your layout come alive with the 3D creation of miniprint.ca. And now on with the show with your hosts, Peter and Joe.
Well, Peter, what is in the show this month?
Well, this month we have assembly of a coal bin and crane by Manuel Machado.
Oh, yes, our friends from Portugal.
Yes.
And we got the photo of the month.
Yes.
Like every show.
Mm-hmm. And if anybody is ever interested in what goes on in the steel mill, we have a video on a steel mill, courtesy of Eric Kurowski.
Well, that is really your line of work.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got a view from above with Dan R. Scheidell, and also the run by on the intro is a courtesy also of Dan R. Scheidell.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a short version of miniprint.ca.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be pretty much so the show for this month.
Yes.
So let's start the show right now with the video from Manuel Machado and how to assemble a coal bin and a coal crane of a faller kits that he has done. Starting now.
Remember to like us, subscribe, and click the bell so we can notify you when new videos are uploaded. Visit us at our website www.canadianmodelrailroad.ca.
consider. We have received some mini prints from Bernard, the 3D, and so I compare some of the animals that have been sent to me by mini prints to the pricer, and by far none mini prints has pricer beat.
He's got very, very good detail on his wildlife, and now he's getting into other stuff besides wildlife.
The collections right now of wildlife, and now starting with other details that you will need under your layout, is just incredible. And those mini print, those 3D print, really will be the things that will make the viewer of your layout get in awe how good it is. It really creates lives in a layout, especially when you got something detailed like that.
Yes.
Have you noticed the eagles, for example?
Yes, we got some very nice bald eagles from Bernard.
You can see every feathers,
Yes.
every details of that eagles on 3 different positions. You put that on your layout, it's impossible that somebody do not see the details, do not see how natural that would be on your layout. And every single people who models, like we do on model railroad, want their scene to be realistic.
Yes. Yep.
Well, folks, take the time to go to miniprints.ca and see what is available to you to make your layout come alive. Don't be shy. You will realize that all those 3D prints from miniprint.ca are very affordable, and it's worth the price to make your layout come alive.
Remember to like us, subscribe, and click the bell so we can notify you when new videos are uploaded. Visit us at our website www.canadianmodelrailroad.ca.
And now, the photo of the month.
Enjoy.
Remember to like us, subscribe, and click the bell so we can notify you when new videos are uploaded. Visit us at our website www.canadianmodelrailroad.ca.
And a view from above from Dan R. Scheidell starting now.
Rolling mill by or courtesy of Eric Kurowski.
So what else new, Peter, through the last month?
Well, we kind of socially distanced ourselves, and this is, I guess, my first week back out at CMR. I stayed at home for 2 or 3 weeks after the last episode.
Well, I guess you had no much choice, because walking around with crutches or a cane wasn't helping either.
Yeah, I kind of screwed that up and sprained my ankle. Yeah.
Well, Peter, 3 members of our crew end up with some medical issues on the last month.
Yeah.
And Peter avoid some step, and find himself at the bottom of the step on the sidewalk, going to play ball.
Had a bad mishap with the puppy wanting to play ball.
Right, or set directors decided I'm going to put a kibosh on your walk.
Yeah.
Another member right now is waiting to have some result of some test, and myself, I have been under the weather too.
You ended up on antibiotics. So.
Yeah. But
not COVID-19.
That's right. And that's the good thing.
Yes.
So not much progress has happened on the CMR in the last month because of all those issues. We were hoping that we were to bring you more stuff from the CMR and also from the module of the Reef Junction, but unfortunately, we're sorry we couldn't.
But I've spent a lot of time on my own N-scale layout at home. Been putting lights in a lot of my buildings, and been building chain link fences, which I'm starting to get pretty good at.
And I believe that the pictures of that appear into the June photo of the month. Because May was already full.
Yeah. But the other thing, I spent a fair amount of time on Facebook, I guess, and just wanted to bring up, there's a lot of kind of chatter about weathering.
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of people, and the same with scenery, we've talked about this before, about imperfection being perfection, right?
That's right.
And there was a lot of comments that I had seen about weathering of cars that, there was one had a lot of big rust splotches on the side of the car, and he was asking, is this kind of too much? He was afraid he'd gone overboard. And I really think kind of the answer to it is that if you want to see what weathering, especially rust, is, go and observe some real trains.
Well, yeah. Matter of fact, one who did a very nice job on one of the car, and it was a grain car, was Bill Sturgeon. And by the way, Bill, if you're watching, I hope your health is getting better after all that surgery that you had on your heart. Take it easy, come back slowly. We know that sometime we have to take time for ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, so Bill Sturgeon does some fantastic work too.
Yeah, he's model engineering, I believe, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
But, I've done some observing of real rolling stock. I haven't done a lot of my own weathering. But there is such a variety out there. It's really hard to go wrong. I think you have to use your kind of mind's eye, and same as what we talked about with scenery, that, if it looks good to you, it's probably good.
Right. Well, you see, you probably noticed on the CMR we had maybe a couple cars, 2 or 3 cars who are weathered, but the rest is not. The engine are not weathered either. My take on that is, let's do the sceneries and the weathering on the sceneries, make the scenery right, and then weather the train.
Yep.
So that you don't try to weather your sceneries according to the train, but do the train according to the scenery.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of a process. Some people, I understand, they do only that, weathering cars and that type of thing.
And everybody has their preference.
Exactly. So, and you don't want to have two car alike, so you got something that when it get into the layout and run into the layout through your sceneries that you have spent many hours doing, it just look natural, look in place. Yeah. So, well, that's my personal take on that, Peter.
And I know myself, like with my own home layout, I'm not worrying about weathering rolling stock at the moment. I want to get my buildings done, my scenery done, before I get into any kind of weathering. And I've got a fair amount of rolling stock in N scale that I have to weather at some point. But I just thought I'd throw that in. It's
I think it's a very good throw you did there.
It's something that was on Facebook a bit, and I think it comes down to you really have to observe what's out in the real world, and then if it looks good to you, you're probably right on the money.
Another thing is you would be doing that before you do the final details.
Mm-hmm.
Because at one point when you're working on a layout and you're putting all the details, and suddenly you want to work on the back, and you got those fine details in there and you break them down, it happened. So fine details are pretty much show the last of the last, and that's when you add on all these beautiful 3D print of mini prints, because you don't want to break those things.
No, that's for sure.
So actually, I think our show has been viewed by quite a few people. The comments that we got are nice.
And thanks again for the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. We need a comment below, right?
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget to subscribe, to push subscribe and the little bell so we notify you of any new show coming in. One of the how-to show that we had was about snuffers. And I had some question to being asked about the snuffers, and one individual in particular was trying to correlate the word communication in between wires, that I hadn't mentioned into that specific video. I think in there I didn't use the proper term.
Oh, okay.
Instead of communication, what I should have said is to reduce or to cut the signal distortion in between the wires.
Right.
Because that's exactly what happened when you got a lot of wires together. And he mentioned in there, he said you mentioned one pro, but you didn't mention any con. Well, on the con is the people who don't have it and have a large layout and don't use snuffer, the conversations or the signal distortions in between the wires will still remain there. In a small layout, like a module and that type of thing, you not necessarily need them. Okay? So it's not, the snuffer is not something that is important. Now, the snuffer do not disturb your power system, be it Digitrax, NCE, MRC, whatever it is. It does not disturb anything in there. So in our mind at CMR, if it does not disturb or cause any side effect on my powers that I got there on the layout, why not have it?
Yeah.
It's just an add-on safety that you put in there. That's all. So I just wanted to make the correction, Peter, in there, because you probably saw that comment.
Yes.
We went about 3 or 4 paragraphs,
Yeah.
and by the end of it, we were all talking the same language.
Yes.
So, but I think it's a thing that when you listen to the snuffer how-to video, the word conversation should be, in reality, a signal distortion.
Right. Good.
Yeah, so that's about it for now.
And don't forget to send in your comments. We look at them, and it helps us with kind of planning the show. And also the photos for photos of the month.
Well, photo of the month, you can also post them into Canadian Model Railroad Facebook page. You know, when you see the pictures that is right now showing, that's mean you're at the right place. It can be any scales. It can be from your clubs. It could be pictures that you had taking rail fanning. The pictures are posted in the Canadian Model Railroad Facebook page. More than likely would be seen into the show at one time or another. Not necessarily the same months that you place them in, but they would be there.
Yes.
And don't forget to subscribe right below.
Right below, yes.
And click the little bell so you can be notified. So for now, happy modeling, folks.
Take care.
And we see you on the next show.
Bye for now.